Raj, first of all, thank you very much for coming over.
My pleasure.
And again, thank you very much for sharing the stories of it.
Yeah.
I personally believe a lot in good spirits and a lot in positivity. If you do good things happen to you. That is one thing that I've constantly been saying on the podcast, and again, that's what you believe in as well. What's your thought on being spiritual? Let's get started with that.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you for having me. Spirituality is a sensitive topic, and it's a personal topic.
Yes, sir.
I respect people who are religious.
Mhm.
I think it's really good for you, and I think all religions, not just one or two, I think all religions in principle teach you how the rights from wrong, teach you good ethics. And traditionally, if you look at the world and history, religion has always been good, and it's been a part of daily life. And हाम्रो नेपालमा पनि, more than people being religious, I think it's built into the culture and heritage. So it's good. But just because you pray 3 hours a day or you walk barefoot to Pashupati every day does not make you a good person. I know, I have heard and I know of a lot of people who do all these things, but they still are not too good people. They steal, they're mean, they're arrogant. So just because you're spiritual or religious does not make you a good person. And a lot of people confuse that. And a lot of people use religion as a marketing tool these days. And it's one of those things that you can't really debate about. So they can really enforce things on people and especially on uneducated people. Especially in a place like Nepal where you see so many Nepalese being converted.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Very sad.
It's sad, but it's a business to do it. So I think it's good in general. Spirituality is good. Religion is even great. It brings culture. But it has to be taken with a modern mindset, I think.
Yeah.
Too much of anything is not good, which I'm sure we'll talk about that later.
Of course we will.
Yeah.
We definitely
And that
will.
goes for religion also. That goes for anything.
Trying to go ahead and grasp the situation right now in 2021. I want to jump into this. Trying to grasp the situation in 2021, looking at the world at the moment. People are definitely looking for something. Maybe it's faith, maybe it's just looking up and I'm not talking about looking up in the sky, but people are actually looking for something, some kind of belonging, that everything is going to be fine. Things are going to be all right. Because there's always, wherever there's a beginning, there's always an end. That is my personal belief. So people are definitely looking for something. What's your take on this?
Well, I think everything will be fine.
Yeah.
But who will live and who will die?
Yeah.
COVID is not a joke. And a lot of the people in the world, not just Nepal, are not taking it seriously. If you go online, they say COVID is worse than all the world wars put together.
True.
Can you imagine if there were nuclear bombs going off today? How scared would everyone be? Not just Nepalese, but look at us. We're roaming around. We're acting like nothing's wrong. And this is the scary part. And everyone says it's going to be fine, a vaccine, you'll get it, you'll be fine. I just got a message just a few minutes ago saying a doctor who was practicing all the protocols, vaccinated everything, he died. This is the true world today, that it's the COVID time, and it's not going away. I think this has to be made clear. This pandemic is not going to be over overnight. It's going to take 2-3 years if we are lucky. If we're lucky, 2-3 years. And you can't fight it. You have to learn how to live with it. The whole world is locking down. Lockdown भनेको it's like going underwater and holding your breath. तपाईँ कति मिनेट गर्न सक्छ, कति सेकेन्ड गर्न सक्छ? निस्किनु त पर्यो, सास फेर्न पर्यो.
Of course.
A lockdown is the same thing as you being underwater. But you can't do that forever. You need to come out of that nuclear bunker called your home and get on with life.
True.
And this is what the world has to realize, and most people have. But a lot of people don't want to accept the truth, is my version.
I agree with you 100%. When it comes to economy, again, I jump from topics to topics. That's what I love doing. Let's talk about the economy. I am a personal believer in every individual in this world, especially every individual in Nepal, should get an opportunity to put food in their table.
Yes.
Regardless of whatever the situation is in the planet, unless the government gives them money, gives them food, every individual should at least get an opportunity to go out and put food in their table. For that, they have to work. Do you believe in this?
Oh, definitely, definitely.
How do we... Yes, please.
Basic necessities. क्या?
Oh.
हाम्रो basic necessity, food, water, clothing and shelter.
Oh.
यही त हो. त्यसपछि त education र medical care आउँछ. तर these basic necessities चाहिन्छ अनि we are slipping. Nepal is slipping. We're going down a difficult path that we need to jump out of and move forward. But if you look at inflation, if you look at the price of materials, it's going up much faster than the income is, or the economy is, I think.
How many people do you employ, sir?
Over 1,000.
Over 1,000 people.
Yes.
And in general, when you have conversations with your employees, what are the things that right now that they come up and they tell you, okay, these are the things that's going on at the moment with COVID and the whole thing that's going on in the world?
Well, our number one topic, which we discuss, the first thing we say in our corporate meetings, down to each department meeting, to each daily meeting, are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you safe? Did you get vaccinated? Did everyone in your household get vaccinated? If someone is sick, how can we help you? That is what every Nepali, everyone in the planet needs to ask today. Are you okay? How can I help? Because business ta mathi tala bhayihalcha ni life हैन तर life भने COVID जस्तो डरलाग्दो चिज त छैन नि. It's the bubonic plague.
True.
You know, a business can change. In the olden days, it would take you 5 years. Now they say in 5 months. It's the COVID era.
True.
Your business can change in 72 hours. Why? Because people can die. You can die. Your family can die. And why will you come to work? So times have changed. So the first question is definitely everyone is worried about is COVID. There is a general fear at the uneducated lower level about the vaccine.
Oh.
यो लगायो भने मलाई क्यान्सर लाग्छ कि मलाई के हुन्छ कि त्यो डर त छ. And at times, at least we've kind of forced it. It's like, listen, there's no fear, no nothing. You have to take it. Your whole family has to take it if you want to come to work. Or else, this is not multiple choice whether I want to do it or not. And overall, because we do a lot of market research, first lockdown, it was like, oh, band, chutti, let's have fun, Second lockdown, people were more afraid. More afraid because, jobs are lost. Disposable income is down.
Sure.
Schools are closed. That has a major impact for those who have family, those who have kids, even including myself. When you can't send your kids to school, it impacts you. It impacts you and your wife and everyone in the household. So Yopali, I think people are more afraid. But at the same time, there's so many areas in Nepal that mask nalauni.
No.
Mask लगायो भने तपाईं काठमाडौँको मान्छे oh be careful भन्ने छ. This type of attitude, this laid back हाम्रो नेपाली attitude चाहिँ नि is not a good recipe when you mix it with COVID, where no one is safe, regardless how fit you are, how strong you are, how successful or how poor you are. COVID does not spare you. So you need to be careful. And the sad truth is, यस्तो आफ्नो घरमा मान्छे नमरेसम्म you don't care. But if you have someone who's died from COVID, believe me, you are taking it seriously. So this is the fear that we worry about. But yes, economically, it is a problem. You need to just hang in there.
You definitely need
Stay
to.
alive.
There's one word that you used called fear, and I want to jump back a few years. How is it coming back coming back to Nepal, and what was it like when the conflict was happening and you were here, you came back, what really was going on, and even at that moment, the fear was there.
Yeah. Financial fear is one thing, and when you fear your own life.
Exactly.
That's a whole different problem. And today, thank God, I always say, Nepal has got a lot of problems. We can complain we're, the last in SARC, we're not doing well. But at least it's safe. No one's going to shoot you in the street.
True.
त्यो चाहिँ नि fear छैन, which पहिला थियो. People were afraid, and rightfully so. Because यति खत्म भइसकेको थियो कि I heard बिरगन्जमा 5,000 रुपियाँलाई बच्चाहरू किडन्याप भइरहेको थियो.
त्यो समयमा.
And that's not a good environment. So that's over. But yes, there was a time of fear and there was a time of problems. But today, Nepal is a safe place, I can say. You know, it's yes, there is some major issues. When I compare Nepal to other countries, other developing poor countries, we have a lot of the same problems: corruption, instability. Sabai cha. But the good thing is, we don't have people killing you. The bad thing is I don't want to say we have bad, but we have a lot of room for improvement for medical care.
True.
You know, medical care in Nepal, if it could be as good as Bangladesh, if it could be as good as India, forget Singapore or USA or Europe. त्यतिसम्म भयो भने even Bhutan, त्यतिसम्म भयो भने अलि धेरै राम्रो हुन्थ्यो. तर because of the lack of infrastructure in the medical care industry, it's there, it's getting there. It's a problem. When is it a problem? When you have a pandemic.
Yeah.
When you don't have hospital beds. When you don't have oxygen. You know, it's a big problem. It's
Huge
a life-threatening problem.
True.
So overall, fear, it's something you have to deal with every day. I mean, you have to face your fears in anything in life to go forward.
People say that in business, people can, people have millions and millions and millions of dollars of loan. You know, people have so much issues in business.
Course.
But when it comes to your health and your family's health, that is when the fear really strikes you.
Yes, no money can save you. And doesn't matter how rich you are or what private plane you can fly on to go where. If you're not fit enough to get on the private plane, then what's the use? So Alikati, you have to be careful.
I was reading up on a few things. Ease of Doing Business Index put Nepal on the 94th right now. Right, I was reading up on this morning, and then we're on 94th out of 190 countries. How easy is it to do business in Nepal at the moment, Ratsa? Being honest.
It matters. What industry?
Liquor industry. Let's start off with that.
Oh God, that's horrible. It's difficult. It's very difficult. People think it's really fun and good, but even someone like me, I launched 10 brands and one does well.
Yeah.
And I have one that does well. Others don't. 20 years ago when I came back from the USA, there was only 8 distillery licenses. Today there's 1,500. It's easier to get a liquor license than a driving license in Nepal. I'm serious. I'm not.
Hold on. We have 1,500 liquor licenses?
Yes.
20 years ago, it was 8.
Yes. Yeah, the manpari. It's that's how easy it is. This includes small cottage industry also. So it's ridiculous. So the infrastructure, the policy making needs improvement. You can't have 1,500 factories. Yeah, चल्ने हो भने त्यो 1500 मा 40 वटा चल्छ.
No.
Maybe 5 वटाले कमाउँछ. त्यति हो. And it's difficult. But yeah, Nepalma, there's this habit of copying. I kind of think that your school may problem hogi. School may everyone wants to copy from their friends, but everyone wants to copy. No one wants to be innovative. No one wants to make something new. Everyone wants to do whatever everyone else is doing. And when you have that, you just don't do well. A copy never does well. Even my brands, my biggest brands, Golden Oak, the Himalayan industry ko big brand, the million case brand, the first brand of Nepal to ever do that number. I have 40 brands that copy it. If you hear the names, you laugh. Someone even registered you a golden goat. Just to 40 वटा छ. And we work with the government, we cry and plead, please help us. Hunsa भनेर they help us. By the time they help us, अर्को 20 वटा नयाँ आइसक्यो. This is the problem. So the copying is difficult. So, but ease of business, I think Nepal is a great place. I think there's so little infrastructure. There's so little here. There's so little industry. What industry? China ni. So why not? You'll do well. Because you go to any other country, just go to India or China, it's impossible. Even if you have an original idea that you think no one has ever done, believe me, you go to another country, there's 100 people doing it. And 100 smart people, 100 people who work hard, not like Nepalese. त्यहाँ त बिहान 6 बजे अफिस पुग्छ यहाँ त 10 बजे नै पुग्दैन मान्छे. So the opportunities in Nepal are great because there's so little infrastructure. यहाँ त पानी त छैन. I mean, there was pani for a few months or weeks. त्यो पनि छैन. Oh, now there's not even clean air. So there's plenty. There's not even toilets. You don't have toilets in Nepal. Someone could actually make good money if they just had clean toilets.
True.
People always like to talk about tourism. I'm like, tourism? यहाँ एउटा टोइलेट त बनाउन सक्दैन, टुरिज्मको त कुरै छाड्दियो. There's a long, a long path to get to that level.
100%. I definitely wanted to get into that as well. Ease of doing business. I believe saying when in 70s, I know back in 73 when JJ was established, when HD was established, and how is it then? The legacy has definitely been passed on. How difficult was it when establishing a brand back then?
It was difficult then. I mean, my father wasn't the first in our business.
Yeah,
My
true.
great-grandfather, the
yeah.
Theka system, country liquor garthyo. It was a much more difficult work. My grandfather had 15,000 staff.
15,000 staff.
Yeah, his house was much bigger than mine. He did well. त्यो बेलामा business भने त it was a whole different league. The competition was very aggressive. The border was really open. Not just open. So when my dad came back from the States, he built Jawalakhel district. And त्यो बेला उहाँले 20 लाख लगानी गर्यो. And त्यो बेला 20 lakh was a lot of money.
True.
And people told him, you're crazy. You are crazy. You are nuts. 20 लाख पनि लगानी गर्छ. त्यो बेला जग्गा 1000 रुपैयाँमा आउँथ्यो आना और रोपनी आना भन्ने त छँदै थिएन. I think we bought the Jawalakhel district land for 30,000 rupees, 30 rupees. Yeah, I mean this was in a long time ago.
Oh.
But when my father built Jawalakhel district, it was insane. People were like, you're crazy. But then he did well, and people were like, oh my God. When I came back and we opened Himalayan district, we spent 40 crores. And people were like, you're gone mad. You're crazy. The banks, they can सबैजना, Raj, you've gone nuts. तर आज हेर्नुस् न. Himalayan district is one of the best companies in the country.
True.
And I just started my brewery. And from 40 crores, we've invested 400 crores in the brewery. And people are all telling us, Raj, you're crazy. You're nuts. You're mad. यस्तो पनि brewery बनाउने यहाँ नेपालीहरूले बियर त खान आउँदैन. Why are you making such a fancy brewery? Why are you bringing brands like Warsteiner? Warsteiner is like the Bugatti of beers. People don't even understand what Warsteiner is. It's in other countries. You go to Thailand or other countries, you only get it in the 7-star hotels मा मात्रै पाउँछ. That's how good of a brand is. तर बुझ्दैन. तर I know with time, with good quality, with innovation, with state-of-the-art technology, which is never cheap. Nothing in life is cheap, especially the good things. You will do well. I think you will. I mean, I have to keep trying. Let's see. But it's not easy. It takes time. It takes hard work. But if you want something hard, you have to struggle to get it. And it's not going to come cheap. Cheap, not just in financial terms. Cheap in the sense things don't happen overnight. When it does, it goes overnight also.
Oh.
So I've seen that. I mean, the whole world has seen that. People doing well and down, up and down, up and down. But slow, steady, hard work pays off. At least that's what I believe.
What was the first brand that Vijay sir started? I want to jump into
wow.
that. What is the first brand? Everybody thinks, being very
Ruslan.
honest with you, Ruslan नै हो कि हैन?
No.
के छ होला? First brand के थियो सर?
Ruslan भन्दा पुरानो एउटा Jawalakhel dry gin भन्ने थियो.
Jawalakhel dry gin.
Yes, it used to sell more than Ruslan.
Huh.
एउटा Cleopatra whiskey पनि थियो.
People used to drink gin back in the day.
Of course, the British influence was strong. Gin is a great drink for the summer heat.
True.
It used to sell more than vodka. And हाम्रो Cleopatra whiskey was a big brand.
Cleopatra whiskey.
Yes, of the old, maybe the fathers or grandfathers would remember. It's older than Ruslan. And त्योभन्दा अगाडि country liquor त there was a brand called Special Number One.
Special number one. के whiskey थियो?
No, it was Roxy.
Roxy.
Country liquor भने low alcohol but mass.
Sorry, Roxy.
Mass distribution. And that still is 10 times the size of our organized premium liquor.
Premium liquors.
Yeah.
And then how did Ruslan come to play?
Ruslan's an interesting story.
Everybody wants to know this.
Yeah? Okay. Well, the fun thing is next year is our 50th anniversary.
Of Ruslan?
Yeah. It's one of the oldest brands, forget companies, oldest brands of Nepal. Owned by one company. There are other brands, but they've been bought and sold by a dozen different companies, or at least half a dozen. So Ruslan, in those times, when my father was building his distillery, this was early 70s, USSR was very big.
True.
There was a lot of Soviet influence. And that time, Hamro, Boris Lasanovich, the famous Boris Lasanovich, everyone knows him, he had a Russian friend come over who was a distiller. अनि उहाँ चाहिँ नि मेरो बोरिसजीले मेरो बुवालाई चिनाएर
बोरिस सरको रेस्टुरेन्ट थियो हैन?
उहाँले चाहिँ नि त्यो मेरो बुवालाई इन्ट्रोड्युस गरेर त्यो मान्छेले चाहिँ नि, he worked with my father on designing the plant, the Jawalakhel distillery plant, to be a vodka plant. And उहाँले नि नाम दियो Ruslan. उहाँले नि label बनायो Ruslan. He said, this is a good name. This is a very popular name in Russian. It sounds Russian. It's very good. And our Ruslan vodka is a Russian recipe. And a Russian recipe designed for smoothness. Because Nepali, they like to have a good time, but they like to wake up fresh. And when you ask, when you ask the average Nepali, how does this taste? They're like, give me a bottle, I'll tell you in the morning. People actually, the real drinkers tell us this.
Of course.
But that's how it started. It started in the early 70s, 60s, देखि, and the plant also was tuned to make vodka. And that's how it did well. And त्यो बेलामा Russia was big. USSR was very powerful. त्यो बेला हाम्रो engineerहरू, if you look at all your senior engineers, तिनीहरू त Russia त जान्थ्यो पढ्न.
No.
So the Russian influence was strong, and vodka slowly picked up well. Because त्यो बेला Scotch whiskey was expensive. It was imported. So त्यो चाहिँ नि, it was not possible for the average Nepali. And most Nepalese people could not afford to drink that. And if they did, त्यो पार्टीमा खान्थ्यो, तर घर जाँदाखेरि साथीहरू छ नि दिनका दिन, most of the people, anyone who's, I would say, above 45, they learned how to drink from Ruslan or from Kukri, another landmark brand.
True. No shadow of a doubt on that. अहिलेसम्म पनि खुकुरी भनिसकेपछि, रुसलान भनिसकेपछि, it's embedded in our system.
Yeah.
I know if you have to gift somebody, you'd either gift a Ruslan, you'd gift a kukuri coming with its own kukuri itself. When it comes to owning a liquor company, we'll definitely dive. I want to dive into this at the moment. Growing it, owning it is one. Growing it day by day. How does that work? Growing a company, especially a liquor company.
Well, with whether it's liquor company or any company, I know, you have to be in touch with the customers. What do the customers want? What are the trends? What are the realities? What are the challenges? What is also the competition doing? It's as important.
Okay.
Ruslan has never had it easy. None of us have ever had it easy. We've had Ruslan go up and down 4 times. Even now we're having a tough time, but we're rebuilding. This has happened many times. So we're like, okay, once again, we fall down. It's like in life. You fall down all the time, but you have to keep getting up. So in business, it's the same thing. And in Nepal, just the Tama, where in the last 20 years, with all respect to our political friends, we've had a difficult time politically. When foreigners ask me about Nepal, tell me about Nepal, and I say, we're a very young democracy and we're still figuring it out.
Yeah.
हाम्रो अहिलेसम्म त्यो perfect त्यो puzzle चाहिँ नि complete भएको छैन. So यस्तो turmoil टाइममा अलि माथि तल त हुन्छ.
Of course.
And त्यो गभर्नमेन्टै देशै माथि तल हुन्छ भने त obviously the businessmen, the businesses, the trade, they also go up and down. And that's the difficult part, because if you have stability, you will do fine. But when you're in rocky waters, you don't know whether the boat will sink or not.
Of course.
And that is the reality of Nepal. The only guarantee is there is no guarantee. Or the guarantee is if you're doing well, you won't last forever. And this is life, isn't it?
No shadow of a doubt on that. It definitely is. You talked about ups and downs. You talked about failures, right? A couple of days back, I had Paras Khadka on the podcast. He was right here. One thing Paras said that's definitely going to stay with me forever in my life is sports khelao.
Of course.
Sports khelao kina भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ to young people, who watch my podcast as well, and to the older generation as well. स्पोर्ट्स खेल्नुपर्छ किनभने स्पोर्ट्समा एक थोक चाहिँ एकदम इम्पोर्टेन्ट कुरा के सिकिन्छ भने सानैदेखि चाहिँ हार सिकिन्छ अरे के. You learn how to lose.
Yes.
When you learn how to lose, doesn't matter what age you are. If you start off when you're young, then it's okay. What you'll do is you'll get up, you'll brush yourself, and you'll get back on that field. You'll learn that right at the get-go, right when you're young. And that's what Paris said, and it definitely stuck with me. Failure in business. Every individual or every entrepreneur, let's talk about entrepreneurship. Every entrepreneur is, before he starts a business or she starts a business, they're going to be like, what happens if I'm going to fail? Change and failure. These two things are the most important two things for every entrepreneur. How do we overcome from failure, Ratsa?
Well, first of all, I love Paras, just like every Nepali person should. he should be prime minister one day. That's how much I like. This country would change if Paras was on top.
Okay.
Sports भने failure पनि छ, तर there's a lot of other things you learn in sports. Team. You need a team. एकजनाले सक्दैन, सबैजना मिलेर काम गर्नुपर्छ, हैन?
Oh.
Fair play. There's rules and you have to follow them. नभए त red card हुन्छ. हो कि हैन?
Oh.
Life-मा red card-मा you can't survive. Business-मा red card means the bank is taking over. But you have to follow the rules. You cannot cheat. And look at the environment we're in. Not just Nepal, the whole world. Only cheaters are going forward. But are these good people? No. We need to stand up and fight. Nepalese don't. इन्डियामा 10 पैसा एलपिजी बढ्दाखेरि त
Riots हुन्छ.
राइट यहाँ त मतलब 100 रुपियाँ बढ्दाखेरि प्रब्लम हुँदैन. It's ridiculous. But sports, martial arts, meditation, there's many disciplines that are very, very good for you. And yes, failure. Learning how to fail is important. You need to cry every now and then. People who haven't cried or don't feel pain, they don't know how to deal with things when it really hits you. So toughening yourself up, tough love is important. And honesty. Just being out there and being honest with yourself. Real honesty, genuine honesty, not just coming in front of media and saying, oh, I'm very honest. Real, genuine, good people. It's a shortage. It's a global shortage. Not just Nepal, a whole world. There's leaders out there. The richest leaders in the world are the richest people ever on the planet. Azako dinma. This is not just poor, undeveloped countries. This is even in developed countries. You see the type of leaders that are running this country, this world. It's shameful. Laje lagni, हैन? But again, fear is something that you have to deal with, and it's not easy. And those who do well in life, forget business. It's you have to learn from your mistakes. You have to fall, and if you read and try to keep strengthening yourself, all those who do well in life are ones who've fallen many times. If you look at the greatest leaders from the past and from the future and the present, these are all people who never had it easy. No one just won a lottery ticket and got $1 trillion. सबैले धेरैचोटि लड्यो नि, but they kept getting up. In everything in life, you need to keep getting up. You will be knocked down. You should get knocked down. It's good for you to get knocked down. Those who've never been knocked down, either they're lying or they're insignificant. They haven't done it. They're playing it too safe. If you're playing it too safe, you'll never get knocked down. And when it comes, when that hard punch comes, you will not be able to get up. You'll be knocked out. And not because of the pain, because of the shock. You mentally won't be prepared to deal with it. You'll have a breakdown.
Do you remember any moments when...
Many. Hundreds.
You want to talk about at least one?
Oh my God, so many.
Pick one.
When my brother died, my life was a bubble before that. I lived a perfect life. I had more money than anyone could ask for.
Sure.
I was school captain. I was Lincoln School president twice. I was in every sports team. I did everything. I was the poster child. I dated the most beautiful girl in the school.
Yeah.
Everything was good. Everything was great. I went to a great university. I went to Jack Welch School, UMass. That's why I went. I went to that because of Jack Welch, but also because it was a big party school.
Yeah. It
was so fun. And I was like, Nepal ma ke ko fun. Let's go see the real world. But boom, when my brother died, my world collapsed. Overnight. Overnight it collapsed. And I came home. My parents weren't in a position to work. No one wanted to work. And what happened? My competitors were like vultures. Vultures coming after me. And through all backward ways, all illegal ways. There was duplicate. There was this. They conducted strikes in my factory. यस्तो गाह्रो भयो त्यस्तो त कति छ त्यस्तो स्ट्राइक त हाम्रो any large businessman every 2-3 years there's strike. Now त अब त्यो लात खान्दा त्यो लड्दा हामी त expert भइसक्यो. There's a strike, no problem. Let's deal with it. Pull out the old rule book. But the first time was hard.
Yeah.
But now you're used to it. We just had one that got cleaned up just a week ago. It was not a big deal. But that's how you learn. But I've had many personal business ma ta kati. Ruslan, when I came back, यस्तो family disaster bhayirako थियो, we caught 14 trucks of duplicate Ruslan in Thankot. 14 trucks.
कहाँबाट आउँदो रहेछ?
चोरहरुबाट. चाइनाबाट आयो कि यहाँबाट आयो कि इन्डियाबाट आउन त आयो. And brandai मार्दियो. 14 trucks. 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 14 My competitors were part of this group. Testo थियो, यस्तो aggressive थियो. When you are down, believe me, that's when people come after you even more in all different directions. When you are down, forget just business. Even in family, you have problems. Even with your wife, you'll have problems. I strongly believe when bad luck hits you, it hits you from all directions. Suddenly people who said, oh, Sanjay ta yesto ramro manche, yesto bato manche, Sanjay ta is not that smart, quite arrogant. Thik bhayo ulai. People actually say, oh, I'm glad it happened to him. So these things happen in life. It's happened to me many times with business, with personal issues. Testo bhairahन्छ. But you just keep going. I mean, every time you get knocked down, you have to say, okay, I'm not going to fall into that hole again. You know, at least next time when you see that hole, you'll walk around it. And the beauty comes where 99% don't do this is afno matra haina. You must learn from other people's mistakes. If you can learn from other people's mistakes and know where all the holes are, and you can walk in that field of entrepreneurship, it makes a big difference. And I've tried, but I'm not perfect, but I've fallen a lot. So, I meet with young people all the time, and they say, oh, you know so much. I say, I know a lot about what not to do, more than what to do. So I can tell you all the things not to do, but that itself, for me, I learn more from people's failures than from their successes. Success, though, you can just Google 1,000, 1,000,000 different sites on where to go about success. But it's failures. We learn from failures. At least for me, that has worked.
Risk. We talked earlier, you talked about it, right? 73, definitely it was a risk. In the 80s, it was a risk, of course. When you came back, you took a risk from moving the company from, let's say, from crores to now millions, billions very soon. we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Maybe in dollars to that. You never know. Risk. Lina kina डराउँछौँ हामी? Why are we so afraid to take risks? नेपाली भएर पनि हैन, risk लिन अलिकति I don't know why. I feel this personally. Why do you think that happens? And you've taken the risk.
Great question. Yes, you're right. Nepalese don't take risk, and it's simply because you need to go to the history. We've never had problems. Nepal was always a rich country. It was a fantastically rich country, rich because of the trade routes.
Yeah.
So look, why do we have such beautiful mandir? That's not because we have good artists. Because we were rich. The Malla kings were rich, and they had that money to invest in culture, in song, in dance, in religion. That's why. And we've never had famine.
We never had?
No, not major famine. Yeah. We never were colonized. Look at poor India. If India was not colonized, it would have been better than Germany probably. Nepal had so little problem. Well, the worst problem we had was the earthquake. Yes, it was horrible. 10,000 people died. But 10,000 is not much when you look at it as a
bigger
nation.
Picture. Yeah.
So what problems? I mean, अहिले यहाँ नेपालमा गरिब मान्छे छ तर they can go back to their village and खेती गरेर त बस्न सक्छ. I tell people, Baru, it's better to go live in the village and live a nice, healthy lifestyle instead of being stuck in a room with 20 other friends.
True.
So we don't have that problem in Nepal. Not yet. It can change. I'm not saying not everyone. There are a lot of poor people out there that need help. Yes, the situation isn't flourishing, but fear is, I think, Nepalese have God ko fear. To Bhagwan ko, they're God-fearing. That is there. But are they afraid of anything else? I don't think so. I think they're very brave. I think Nepalese are very resilient. They're creative. The kam sam garna. I mean, if you look at Nepalese who go abroad, they work like dogs. I've seen it. I've seen it's मलाई त यस्तो आँखामा आँसु आउँछ यार. दुबईतिर उतिर 18 घण्टा ड्युटी गर्छ ट्याक्सीमा. 18 घण्टा ड्युटी गर्छ. अनि त्यो 6 घण्टा भित्रमा सुत्ने, खाने, नुहाउने रेडी.
सबै.
अनि एउटा कम्प्लेन गर्यो भने he is on the next flight back to Kathmandu. They work like dogs. तर त्यही मान्छे नेपाल आएपछि के हो? He becomes lazy guy. He becomes raja. But it's because there's fear outside, and here they're kings. Nepalese are kings in their own country, in their own land. But I hope we'll be fine with COVID. But I think we have a hard lesson ahead of us, definitely.
The thing about risk, getting back on this, you took a big risk with so many different things,
Yeah.
so many different properties that you have. Maybe a few I know, but
No, त्यो धेरै हुन्छ.
रिस्क किन लिनु खोज्दैन मान्छेले? Entrepreneursलाई रिस्क लिन कसरी चाहिँ रिस्क ल्याऊ भन्ने. How do we tell them?
Because their parents.
Oh.
Parents-ले भन्छ, please study well, get first division in SLC, get into a nice college and get a good job. Bus, don't leave that job. You look at any business book or anyone, any teachings these days, that's what they say. This is the bad thing.
Yeah.
And this is what the government teaches you to do because they need employees. And it's not risky. People just don't want to take risks. They just want to, get a nice diploma from a nice private school, if not whatever, and get a nice job. 9 to 5. Tension hundena. No risk. But risk is something that it's like sports. The more you do it, the more risky you'll take, And risk or appetite, the more you do it, the more it's practice. It's practice, it's pain, it's discipline. Nepalese are not disciplined. We are very indisciplined. And we have an excuse for everything. And the best excuse and the final excuse is ke गर्ने मलाई त my karma is bad. Dasa layo.
Oh.
Okay, नराम्रो भयो भने it's not that this happened to me because it's my fault. First of all, it's 10 other people's fault. It's the country's fault. It's my education's fault. It's my brother's uncle's fault. And worst is over. के गर्ने? God himself doesn't bless me, but it's never my fault. And this is a problem. You need to accept. If you want to be accountable, you must accept responsibility. And that means you are the problem and you are the solution. And that's the way risk works, is you take accountability and you gather the courage and what we like to say in business terms, get out of the comfort zone. And Nepalese have always been in the comfort zone. How to get out of the comfort. If you go to China, if you go to India, why in India are the best workers there? They work like so hard. Why are the students so good? Because their parents don't mess around when it comes to education. Anyone who's good in education, they didn't do it by themselves. It's because their parents are backing them, are making sure every homework is done, the reading is done, everything is done ahead of time. So everything is cool. A kid studying by himself, no parents are not getting involved. So this type of laid-back attitude has repercussions. It has negative. It has great benefits also.
True.
Culturally, everyone's happy, everyone is thing, Quality ma 500 rupiयाँ पनि छैन तर they'll spend 400 on their friends. हैन यो त्यही त हो नेपालीहरुको बानी. इन्डियामा त्यस्तो त हुँदैन नि. इन्डिया हैन एनी देश धेरै देशमा त्यस्तो हुँदैन. 500 रुपियाँ छ भने त 100 रुपियाँ त निकाल्दैन. यहाँ I have seen people who have 5,000 crore, 10,000 crore 1 रुपियाँ निकाल्दैन. नेपालीहरु त उल्टो फुर्ती देखाएर they'll pull out their credit card and spend money they don't have.
True.
This is the nature of the beauty of Nepalese, I think, also at the same time. I mean, for everything in life, there's trade-offs, good and bad, yin and yang, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But Nepal is still a great place. I still think so.
It definitely is. Yeah, a couple of days back, I was watching this this video on on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok. I don't know if you have that or not.
I'm a big TikToker.
There's this video of India's former president, I believe. He passed on, APJ Abdul Kalam, and he said this story. I definitely want to say this story at the moment, and then I'll dive into this. He said, I'll cut it very short. एउटा स्पेस एजेन्सीको उहाँ चाहिँ हेड हुनुहुन्थ्यो अरे होइन अनि त्यसपछि त्यो स्पेस एजेन्सीले चाहिँ अन्तरिक्षमा चाहिँ इन स्पेस दे ह्याड टु पुट अप अ रकेट ही वाज हेडिङ द होल थिङ ही वाज हेडिङ दिस होल मिसन अफ कोर्स बिकज अफ सम अनोमली द थिङ केम क्रासिङ डाउन होइन इट नेभर रिच स्पेस So of course, he was the director. His boss, he went up to his boss, and his boss says, "Don't worry about it. Let's go for the press conference." जाउँ त्यो press conference मा होइन press conference मा गइसकेपछि चाहिँ bossले त्यतिखेर यस्तो यस्तो भयो for some so and so technical reason the whole thing came crashing down. It was my fault होइन मेरो गल्ती थियो यस्तो यस्तो भयो ठिकै छ don't worry अर्को केही वर्षमा हामी definitely पुग्नेछौँ. In the few years, again back to the same thing, the same rocket who went up in the sky. Espali the rocket got to space, and then the same press conference. And guess what happened? The boss never showed up. He made sure that the director got the full credit. Being a good leader, that was a solid example. When I heard that a couple of days back, I was like, that is a true leader. When it comes to leadership, how are you as the managing director, as the boss? How do you see yourself?
Well, it matters who. You speak to. I believe no one. It's a team effort, and
Yeah.
to win in a race, a relay, you need to have good players with you,
True.
for sure. Good players, you need to hunt them down. To pound them easy, and if you pay peanuts, you get monkeys. I know, but it's not just about compensation. It's about the working environment. It's about a fun environment, a creative environment. How much are you empowering them? How much are you making it enjoyable? Do your staff want to come to work? Or do they say, oh no, I have to go to work? So I've been lucky in that way that through my readings, and I have great people with me. I'll be honest. Today I have Sachin Joshi. He's the Paras Kharka of business. He's honest, trustworthy. In business, when you recruit, there's many ways to do, but there's 3 fundamentals. The first fundamental is you need to get someone who has knowledge.
Okay.
Knowledge, but either education, experience, both are equal, or sometimes more than the other. Tara knowledge China, you can train them.
Oh.
I know. The next thing you need is someone who'll work hard. Because he might have all the knowledge, but if he's a lazy guy, which most Nepalese are, to काम गर्न त धेरै गाह्रो हुन्छ because he's so lazy. But you can have good KPIs and good control systems that you can beat him. You can motivate him, give him more incentives, he'll work harder. So the third quality is ethics. You cannot teach someone not to steal from you. Because if their nature is chur, you can't teach them not to be a chur.
You can't change them?
It's very difficult. It's not possible. And the most dangerous ones are the ones who work very hard and are very smart. You don't have to worry about the lazy ones who are churs or the stupid ones. But the smart ones and the ones who work hard are the ones who will rob you left, right, and center. And I'm so lucky that I have been blessed. I thank God all the time that I've got good people with me. That, Nepalima भन्छ हामीले त हाम्रो फ्यामिलीले त घरको चाबी दिएछ सचिनजीलाई. That's how much we trust him. We've given the keys to our home, and we know that it's in good hands. And that's not easy. That's also 9 out of 10 people, I hate to say it, you need to think twice, especially in an environment like this, because of multiple reasons, but also because of how they've been raised. If they've been raised in an environment where stealing is okay, then guess what they're going to be doing? But if they've been raised in an environment where it's not okay, where honor, where community, all of these things are important, it makes a big difference. But the world is changing, and you have to be careful all the time. Just because you have someone you trust doesn't mean you need to be blind. You need to have good control systems. You must have good control systems. And आजकलको digital technology, you can catch anything. It's just, are you willing to invest in it and commit to it is the trick. But I've been lucky, and we've got great people, and we do so many fun things. Right now, we're giving Sundays off.
Okay, Saturday and Sundays.
Yeah, because we're like, let's take Sundays off. And we said, we'll come half an hour early, and we'll take extra day off. Because 2 days chutti, it makes a difference. Only 1 day holiday a week is horrible. केही गर्नै मिल्दैन. तर 2 days सम्म त at least पोखरा त जान पायो हैन.
कतै त केही त गर्न पायो.
So we do fun stuff like that. We listen to them. We invest a lot in them. We really believe in investing in our team, in the sense we do heavy training, heavy motivation, heavy this. We buy them the best of equipment. We keep looking for trainers, and it works. It works. And we have a very strong accountability system, what they call a PMS, a performance monitoring system, software. We believe in that. And it's not always easy, not really fun for those who don't perform, but we're in a race. Business is a battle, and it's a war. You need to have the best warriors in the front who have the best knives and guns or whatever you say. If you have the same old guys who are not going to change, you can't fight a war with a bunch of 18-year-olds with a bunch of 60-year-olds. It just doesn't work. So you need to keep changing, and you need to keep the people changing too. Azako dinma, you want young people. Young people under 25. Under 25. If seriously, if you're not under 25, you're not young.
Exactly.
Not like Amro, till you're 60, you're young. We're old people now. But under 25 is the future. These are the people who are so different जाते अर्को.
Oh, I completely agree with you on this.
This is the TikTok generation, at least for the next 6-7 months. That's how fast the technology, the world is changing today. And the attention span of people are changed. In the olden days, you could have a marketing campaign for the whole year, or at least for 3 months. 8 second ad, every 2 days they're changing.
No.
That's the scary world we live in. And you have to decide, is it scary or is it an opportunity? So it's the way you look at it, I know.
Uh-huh. I definitely want to get into 1,000 things, but before I do that, when it comes to your competitors,
Yes.
again, you've already mentioned a few things already, right? They try to kick you when you are down. I know that happens with almost everything, not just with business, but with personal life as well. Competition. How do you look at competition? What's your take when it comes to looking at competition and looking at their mistakes or looking at their successes? And what do you look for within your business? Like these are the things that maybe we need to evolve. How do you roll about that?
Competition is always good because it keeps you on your toes.
Yeah.
In everything in life.
In everything in life?
In everything in life. Competition is good. It keeps you on your toes. Tara, there needs to be healthy competition. And it needs to be a fair battle. Right? It's like sports. Let's just use sports. You got me all excited the moment you talked about Paris. Let's talk about sports. I know. The rules have to be the same. You can't have an umpire only making calls against you. It has to be equal. So it has to be equal. You need to train hard. You need to keep changing. You need to keep bringing new players in. But with competition, it's important more than ever now because we live in the digital world.
Exactly.
It's not like the old days. Every Nepali has a cell phone. Everyone does.
76%.
It's ridiculous.
Smartphones too.
Exactly. And I believe that figure is also wrong. I bet more people.
More people?
Yeah. Because
I'm sure.
if someone's father has one, the kid's using it also.
True.
So
True.
The more cell phones are sold than toothbrushes in Nepal. So in this era where everyone has a cell phone and has access to information, it's not easy. So you have to know what people are doing, what others are doing. You have to compare. Am I doing something right? Am I doing something wrong? Have they changed what they're doing? And today, you can do it from your phone. That's how crazy the world is. You can be anywhere in the world and run a company. People always laugh at me saying, Raj, you're so lucky you get to travel. I travel. I come to meetings like this, but on the way here, I'm approving 10 different things because I have my phone with me. I can talk to anyone anywhere in the world for free. Exactly. And they can call me anytime for free. So competition is good. It's important. It's healthy. But it should be a fair playing ground. It should be in the country's interest. The government plays a role also in making sure this is fair and nice. But if they don't, then things get a mess. What are you going to do? I mean, like say, for example, we have 600 members. What if it was 6,000? Like, I'm not Roxy just get 6,000. 6 lakh se garo na. Kam hunsa? Kamai hundaina ni. एउटा फुटबल फिल्डमा 10जनालाई त 20जना गर्न सक्ला एक फिल्डमा तर 2000 मान्छे त एउटा फिल्डमा त अड्दैन बिग्रिन्छ नि काम गर्नै मिल्दैन and what happens to customers they have too many options but by the time they try every single product which all people do by the time they come around that first product is already out of business. There's like in New York City there's so many restaurants in New York City that they say if you go to each one,
you won't be able
by
to
the time you take a circle, the first one is already gone. So business but competition is critical, but it needs to be healthy. And in Nepal, it's not. It isn't. In most or any business, it's not a level playing field.
Why would you say that?
Black money, lack of corruption, lack of systems, lack of infrastructure. Cartelling, many things. Import is cheaper than export. Nepal is the world's most expensive place to buy a car. You know this or not? I know this because I'm the one who buys the most of them.
The most.
and I get a lot of criticism. Why are you spending so much money on cars? You should, give to the community. I said, when I buy a car, 3/4 of that money is going to the government. So I'm actually doing CSR. It's the same thing with liquor. Nepal is one of the most expensive places in the world for liquor. So when you're buying a peg, you're actually doing CSR because 3/4 of it is going in tax. It's more efficient to buy liquor than any other thing. And it's so expensive. In India, for example, let's just compare India, because forget the world. तपाईले नेपालमा एउटा गाडी किन्यो भने त्यही गाडी इन्डियामा आधा दाम, half the price. Lato hisab, I don't know the exact thing. I mean, the government changes the rules every single day, but usually it's half the price. In liquor, you know what it is, the difference? 1/3. 1/3. Nepalese brands are 3 times more expensive. The same brand made in India is 3 times cheaper in India than in Nepal. Tara, when we want to export, let's say if I want to export to India versus if I want to import bulk alcohol, because I have a distillery, I make liters of thousands of liters of spirit. मैले इन्डियामा रक्सी पठाउनु पर्यो भने मैले 150 रुपैयाँ per liter तिर्नु पर्छ. Okay, tax. You know how much to import it is? Not 150, it's 50 rupees.
That's it?
That's it. So we're like saying, basically we're saying, let's shut down all the factories and just import. Forget the trade deficit. And this is not my industry. There's many industries like this. But liquor, it's a sensitive issue. People don't like it. That we should crack down on it. हामीलाई चाहिँ नि टाइट गर्ने, बन्द गराउने, अनि अरू सामान, अरू देशको सामान चाहिँ यहाँ आरामसँग आइरहेछ. It's cheaper. India जस्तो ठाउँमा everything is cheaper in India. लाखौँ मान्छे छ, करोडौँ मान्छे छ. The costs are 20-30% less. There's so many things like this that affect the business, which makes it really difficult. Because if you want to grow the economy, I mean, I've joined CNI. Yeah. So, like, what do you want to do? We're industrialists. We want to create jobs. To create jobs, we have to build factories. If we build factories, we build jobs, we generate income. The GDP goes up. The export comes down. That's what we do. Exactly. That's what we want to do. But if the policies are so that sabai factory ban garni and sabai import garni भने त मजै आएन नि. How will you do well? And every other country protects themselves. But somehow, in this confusion, someone has lobbied here, lobbied there, that it's cheaper to import alcohol than to make it here in Nepal. Isn't that shameful? Especially alcohol. I'm not talking about something very, fancy or something. Ooh, the alcohol is, you should be tight on it. I believe you should control alcohol. But yeah, China. So I want to lobby and see what I can do.
We talked about a few things. We talked about black money. We talked about corruption.
Yep.
We talked about carteling.
Yep.
Among all these things, how do we, of course, we cannot wipe them off. We cannot have a clean slate.
No.
That is impossible. None of the countries on the planet have done it, maybe except for one or two. Except for one or two, maybe. How do we control this? Because, let me, before you answer, when it comes to paying taxes, you're right there, right at the top, right at the apex. At least I know that,
I just checked this morning. We crossed 1,000 crores last year.
1,000 crore.
Yeah, and people don't like me. So, you're in liquor business. I just gave 1,000 crores to the government.
1,000 crore.
Yeah, I give more money than most countries give to Nepal. I'm a bad guy. Is liquor bad? If you shut me down, it'll be made illegally. And I'm just a small guy. I'm not even a top 100 businessman of Nepal. But I pay taxes. I tell people I'm not in the liquor business. I'm in the tax giving to the government business. 2/3, when you pay 100 rupees for a drink, 70 rupees is going to the government. Do you know this? So you're actually doing a service to the country.
Nope.
So next time you're having a beer or a whiskey,
let's say this one more time. Let's say this one more time to the people who are watching.
For every 100 rupees that you spend on MRP, right? I'm not talking about when you're restaurant or you pay 10 times whatever. For every 100 rupees you're spending, 70 rupees you're giving to the government.
Wow.
This is globally. Even with cigarettes, even more. It's like 80 rupees. It's still, and I'm not going to get into tobacco. But,
that's something else.
Yeah, you're spending a lot of money on it.
Yeah.
So it should be protected, should it not? People should pay tax for liquor, shouldn't it? How do you fight corruption? Well, you need to change the mindset, first of all. You want to fight corruption. It's not just in the schools that has to be educated.
No.
If you're not taught that from a childhood age, then you'll be a cheater. You will try to cheat in sports and everything in life. The best way to the easiest way, the answer that you're probably looking for is digitization.
त्यही नै हो.
Yeah, the phone. It needs to be digital. You can't cheat when it's digital. Everything needs to be online. Everything needs to be a click away. If I want to get a driving license, why can't I do it through my phone? I can send my photo. I can even make payment now.
Huh.
Why do I have to wait in line? And wait, 9 months? And go through 10 different exams that they'll fail you before you even take it? Digitization is the key. You don't have to wait in lines. You don't have to deal with anyone. In Nepal, we're much better than most countries. Believe me, I don't want to talk bad about Nepal. I've seen other countries. अरे यार नाम नल्याऊ यार यहाँ कुन देशमा छ 2 रुपैयाँ दिएर काम चल्छ. हो अब
मैले बुझिसकेँ.
2 रुपैयाँ दिएर पनि सलाब टोक्छ अरू देशमा. यहाँ त छैन नि. But still, if you want to clean up corruption, digitize it. Make it online. You don't have to go there. It's paid directly into the accounts. Finished. You don't have to wait in line because it'll tell you exactly. You can do Zoom. Through Zoom, you can have a meeting. You could go and you could do a driving test on Zoom itself. You could put a camera on your head, or your phone can be your examiner. And they have AI for this too.
Yeah.
So everything is possible, but the best way to clean things up is go digital. And not just clean things up, the future of business at this time of COVID, the one thing that will do well is digital. People ask me, what should I do? I said, tapaiko business agadi, you need one thing only. Just put an E. Put an E in front of your business, it'll do well. E-commerce, e-education, even e-alcohol. From their phone, they're getting alcohol delivered to them, straight into their house.
I know.
What a great world it is.
It definitely is.
Bossy. I know. So times are changing, but clean things up. Education system, stable government, but you can't beat the computer. Computer doesn't cheat you. They do cheat. There's ways around it. That if you want to fight corruption, you need to digitize things. Yeah, the doctors and lawyers and accountants don't pay tax. This is the truth.
I know.
The lawyers even say, we legal people don't pay tax. So, who else will pay? The richest people in the country, in every country in developing, are the politicians. We all know this, but no one says it. But if you digitize everything, then the kahan lukoni. And if you make cryptocurrency allowed, if you ban paper cash, boom, corruption to goyo. But it's a long step, and will our government get there? One day, maybe, but it'll take time.
China is getting to that.
Yes, it is.
China is getting into digital currency. They want to go ahead and go digital by a specific, by another maybe 1 or 2 decades. They definitely want to go ahead and go full digital. Most probably US has to follow down the road gradually.
It's inevitable. Tabako bank account will be from your phone. People say, oh, why should I invest in, we're in the stock exchange now, one of our companies.
Yeah.
I can't talk about it. But
Okay.
People say, hey, Roxyको business is risky because you yourself said 10 brand मा एउटा हुन्छ. I said, म त 50 वर्ष गरिरहेको छु यो काम. अब भोलि पर्सि everyone's like, oh, banks are the best business. I said, yes, they are great. Believe me, I also invest in the banks. तर भोलि पर्सि someone from a phone can make a digital bank. Then what will you do? Look at the media industry. Big powerful media houses are figuring out what the hell's happening because there's 2,000. Last I heard 6,000 Nepali news portals. That's ridiculous. How can you ever make money? There's too many players. It's like by liquor. There's 6,000 guys on the phone. So, it has to change. But again, protection has to be there. And digital is the answer. But controlled, monitored, protected, real information has to come. And it's unfortunately, no matter how good your technology is, I know this because I've seen this a lot. त्यो के हुन्छ भने त्यो इन्टेन्सनै ठिक छैन भने मान्छेको जे गरे पनि चोरी गर्छ हैन त्यो हामी नेपालीमा भन्छौं त्यो कुकुरको त्यो पुच्छर हुन्छ नि
12 वर्ष ढुङ्ग्रोमा राखे पनि
Exactly. So this has to change. But if you want to force it, just digitize it. Just digitize it. It's easy. Overnight is done. There'll be no corruption overnight. How can they do corruption? Unless they go and crash it and put a virus in. त्यो पनि हुन्छ. Cybersecurity is something that has to be hand in hand with digitization. Nepalको त्यति अहिलेसम्म strong छैन नि. Every now and then you hear on the news some Chinese guy came and
Yeah,
cleared everyone's account out.
yeah.
Right? So these are the things that I think would help dramatically.
I definitely want. There's one topic that I definitely want to dive into, and I don't want to waste any time and
Sure.
not just diving into this. How do you brand your business? Not your business in general. Branding is something that, again, in the probably in the 50s it was different way.
Yeah.
In the 70s it was completely different. In the 90s it was different when the internet was not there. When internet was just picking up. Now it's completely different. How do you brand it, and how do you make sure? Again, it's alcohol. How do you make sure that people are hanging on to it?
Great question. I'm still trying to figure this one out. I say this because it changes every day, especially today. Every day is different. You want to take the textbook definitions. What do the people want? What does the customer want? They're changing. What are their habits? There's certain trends.
Yeah.
People are drinking less, but drinking more expensive. Packaging is more important than the product. You need to be digital. You need to be innovative. You need to have limited editions, special editions. You need to be homegrown. You need to be good for the environment. You need to be green, organic. These are all marketing tricks, to get you to pay more money.
Yeah.
But today, I see a little bit more nationalistic. Our Nepali product. पहिले त नेपाली त भन्ने नहुने. हाम्रो 20 वर्ष अगाडि त हामी जानी नेपाली admin नराख्दै. We would never put Nepalese in the ads. We'd only put foreigners. Because foreigners भयो नि त यो त विदेशीले खाने product रहेछ. अब त नेपाली नि people want to see Nepalese. So you see a little bit more nationalism. But with marketing, it has to be digital. It has to be TikTok. If you're on Facebook, I'm sorry, you're a dinosaur. Go ahead. If it's to young people, it's like saying I have a Hotmail account. You know what I mean? That's like saying I drive a classic car. Whatever. I love my classic cars, but today it's about change. It's about quick change. It's about being different is cool.
True.
And today, if I'm drinking one product, in 3 months from now, they want to try something else because it's cool. They want to try. Nepalese love to try everything new. They'll try once, and they're so trend based. So there's a lot of little different tricks you can do. What you can say, what you cannot say. Using influencers, online influencers, it's crazy. There are young boys and girls with millions of followers. And they charge you nothing to do an ad. I know. My company, we used to give 100,000 cc's in media, print media. These people, these young boys and girls who have 3-4 million, 50, that's 30-40 lakh followers, you know how much they charge you to make a TikTok? 5,000 rupees. पहिला जुन हामीले लाखौं रुपैयाँ 10 लाख रुपैयाँ तिर्ने चिज अहिले 5,000 रुपैयाँमा हुन्छ. So you have to change. But के गर्ने? त्यो TikTokको that 30-second ad, त्यो त 2-3 दिनमा बिर्सिन्छ. So you have to keep changing with the times, but it's digital. And all of the things I said before, all the feel-good factor things are important. Today it's cool to be different. It's cool to think alternative. It's not good to be mainstream. It's good to be local. It's good to be craft.
It's good to be raw as well.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to be alternative.
Policies on advertising keeps changing when it comes to alcohol and tobacco.
Yes.
Keeps changing. I'll add tobacco in this as well. Keeps changing. What should they do now? Make it better? What should they really do? Policies.
Well, are you talking about to save the publication houses or to save the brands?
Well, we can talk about both.
Well, to be honest, without liquor and tobacco, the big media houses, whether it be FM, TV thing,
even events.
मिल्दैन, सक्दैन. मिल्दैन. I mean, I it's great. Straight tobacco is a monopoly. उनीहरूलाई त फाइदै भयो नि. उनीहरूको त कति पैसा बच्यो. गर्नै परेन अब. कति त्यो त पैसा त घरमै आयो नि. तर when I look at what we do, the amount I spend in sports, the amount I spend in Nepali cinema, on Nepali artists. About 7-8 years ago, मेरो इन्डियन मल्टिनेसनलहरूले you should get a बम्बेको स्टार भन्यो क्या.
अँ,
And I was like, म किन बम्बेको स्टार राख्ने, बरु मेरो आफ्नै नेपाली स्टार राखौँ न.
अँ,
I know we've got attractive young women, we've got great movie stars, sports stars. I don't need to have some guy from Bombay.
yeah.
And for the price of one person from Bombay, I can support 20 different people. And the amount of money now I'm not saying me, but the industry gives to support music, cinema, fashion, sports, they make more money from us than they do from the government. Seriously, Sanjay, find out yourself how much, okay, you said you can Google it, how much does a sportsman earn a game in Nepal?
Find out.
Seriously.
Barely anything. I know.
Lajai morni.
No.
Laj morni. It's like, let's find out.
यति नै चना अन्डालाई पनि पुग्दैन.
Ani, if they stop us, then what? Let's just stop having sports. Let's stop having, let's shut down all the things. Forget sports. The liquor industry, what? Without the liquor industry, all your schools and hospitals will be closed also.
Why would you say that?
Because the earnings from liquor and tobacco is almost equal to what the government spends on public schools and public hospitals. Not from now, from my great-grandfather's time. Nothing. And this is Nepal, not just Nepal. You धेरै देशमा छ. Very easy. Band garanu, then close all your schools down, close all your hospitals down. Let's see the fun happen. And still it'll be imported in. It'll be smuggled through.
अझ सस्तोमा.
हो नि. कहाँ सस्तोमा? महँगोमा. महँगो हुन्छ नि. कसले भने सस्तो हुन्छ? ब्ल्याकमा त झन् डबल you have to pay. हेर्नुस् न. Look at
ब्ल्याकको कुरै थिएन हाम्रो. Of course.
Look at India. Look at Bihar. Bihar is closed. You don't think त्यहाँ रक्सी पाउँदैन? किन पाउँदैन? डबलमा पाउँछ. तर no one's paying tax for it. त्यो त सबै जो ट्रेडरहरू, नेताहरू, पुलिसहरूले त कमाइरहेछ. Government let the command.
What else should we legalize and get it under the tax system?
Oh wow!
What else should we legalize?
It's the big question. It's marijuana. I know. I'm for it.
Okay.
But it has to be controlled. I know. It's a big one. It's a game changer.
How do we do it? And if it ever happens, how should it happen?
It's going to happen. Thailand ma khulna laisakyo yaar.
ए हो र?
Of course. Every country is doing it. US ले त गरिसक्यो. The only reason it stopped in Nepal is because the Americans shut us, made it illegal, forced us to make it illegal. Now
In the 70s?
Yes. Now in Nepal, Kathmandu is famous for what? For Tamil. Tamil was famous for its marijuana. So we have it would be great, but it needs proper monitoring, proper taxation, proper control. Will it be possible overnight? No. Will our government leaders be proactive enough? I hope so. If we legalized a third gender, which I'm very proud that our government...
Very, very proud.
Why can't we legalize gaza? गाउँमा त के खान्छ? They can't afford cigarettes. गाजा त खान्छ. गाउँमा त रक्सी खाने भने it's an expensive affair. What do they do in the villages? गाजा खाएर त बस्छ. If you can tax it, you can make good money. If you can export it, you can make so much money. तर त्यो गर्नलाई technology चाहियो क्या. I've been studying the cannabis industry. It's no longer just त्यो गाउँमा कुन पहाडको.
You've been studying the cannabis industry in Nepal?
No.
As well? In the world? Global? And then also what we can do in Nepal?
It's a science now. It's high-tech machinery. It's high organics. It's hydroponics. It's not just त्यो कुन गाउँमा let's just get the village together and रोपेर हुँदैन त्यो. If you want to get into the business, you need state-of-the-art technology.
Would you get into this business and export it?
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh yes, I would do it overnight. If it's done properly, if the policies are good. It's a money maker. And Nepal is a paradise for it. But the technology has to be good. And if it's not controlled well, then it'll fizzle away. It'll come and go, okay? But it has to be controlled. I'm controlled in the tax perspective and the quality perspective and also in the consumption, okay? Yes, people talk about marijuana is better than alcohol. Yeah, but I know so many people who have 20 joints a day.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, those guys, they're not going to office. you know, I mean, if you're going to drink a bottle of whiskey a day, obviously you're not going to do well also. But in limitation, having a drink or two, there's nothing wrong with it. Having a joint once in a while, if that's what you like to do, fine. I'm not like that. I love my booze. Yeah. I've been fortunate enough to travel around the world that once me and a college friend, we went to Ibiza.
Ah, nice.
I know. On Ibiza, we went to the bar and there was 1,000 people in this Pasha. Oh my God, crazy place. We went there, bar the Kali. And we didn't realize, why is it Kali? Yatro Manchester, why is no one drinking? Everyone's on drugs. I'm inside there was, beer khara, we were looking at it, looking at everything going on. We were the only ones that weren't on. So only control चाहिए गर्नु पर्छ. This is a tricky thing. Is there control in Nepal? No. It can be done, but it's not easy. Marijuana would be an easy thing to legalize. I've heard talk about prostitution being legalized. That's a tough and sensitive topic.
True.
I'm not an expert of that. I wouldn't think that's a good idea, but it's still available in Nepal. I see it. There's thousands and thousands of sex workers. If you could protect them, nothing wrong with that. That would be better than what's happening right now. But that's a sensitive topic. And
that's a completely different argument.
I'm not an expert on that.
That's a completely different argument. Time. This morning, I was talking to. I was on the radio, and then I was talking about time. As older you get, Ratsa, as older you get, the less time you have.
Yes.
Time for me personally is the most valuable thing at the moment.
It is.
When you're young, you don't care about it. You want to spend time with anybody. You will go on 10 different dates. You will try out everything. You will not think about you will not do the hisab with that. But as older you get, the more you start realizing the value of time. How do you manage time?
Oh, wow.
How do you manage all the things you do?
Oh, well, I have a very nice phone.
Yeah.
I have a very nice gentleman by the name of Ashe, who's a genius when it comes to the technology.
Yeah.
Managing time is not easy, but you have to be organized. I'm not saying I'm very organized, but you have to time slot.
That is a problem. That is a problem all around the world. That is definitely a problem here.
Yeah. So you need to. Yes, I agree with you. When you're young, when you're young, you want to be old. When you're old, you want to be young. This is life. And I catch myself that the weekends go so fast. So I click on a Saturday. In the olden days, one day would take so long. Now, a day, when I was young, what a week would take is like. Now it's so much faster. Years go by. I sometimes, when people ask me my age, I'm like, wait a minute, let me think. I forget how old I am.
Yeah.
But yes, time is the only thing that you can't buy. This is the famous line of Warren Buffett, the real man the king of business. And what do you do with it? Yes, time management is important, but you need to think of what is important. Money is not important, I've said this many times. What's important is to be a good son, a good brother, a good husband, and a good father. That's what's important if you want to be successful. First, then you can be a good boss, a good member of society, or whatever. But your tin sauda cheese is important, and time is you need to set time away for it. There's another famous line saying, the purpose of your job and its income is to fund your bucket list.
Yeah.
I know. All that money you make, besides the
you put 5 things in your bucket list, ain't
yeah, but it's you take that money and do the things you want to do in life.
Of course.
I'm not saying blow it all up, but that's the purpose. So many people forget this, and their whole purpose in life is to work. And they wake up, and they're 60 years old, their teeth are falling out, and they're like, oh my God, I've lost my youth.
Oh.
But very few people realize this. 99% of businessmen don't. But I've been lucky that, through my different associations, I meet the people and say, Raj, I wish I could trade places with you. He multi-billionaire, but he's 75. He's like, Raj, I would give you all my money today if I could be 30 years younger, like your age. Today, ni dinti. Aaj sabai dinti. because he's like, I'm 75. मेरो त every day is a blessing. मेरो 5 वर्ष पनि बाँकी छैन. So, you have to use it well. And it's just like what's in your wallet. If you don't use it well, it'll just go away.
You've been part of EO for a long time,
Yes,
right?
yes.
When you meet again, like you said, when you meet a lot of other businessmen from around the world, what are the things that they miss out on as old they get?
Oh,
like you
wow.
just talked about, what are the things that they've missed out on? They tell you.
Well, I am a member of EO, Entrepreneurs Organization, and also Young Presidents. They were sister concerns.
Oh.
I learned more from them than anything in life. I know they're great organizations. I served many leadership positions, and it's basically a networking group where you get to travel the world. And
more than 61 countries?
Everywhere.
Yeah.
And basically, I have some lines.
Definitely.
There's a guy named Dan Penna. You can find him on TikTok also.
Google.
Yeah.
Dan Penna.
Dan Penna, DANPENA. He says this one line, show me your friends and I'll show you your future.
That's a really good
It's true.
So true.
Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. And then he says, if you hang out with a bunch of bums, then guess what?
Well, you're going to turn into a bloody bum.
It's like sports again, right?
Yeah.
Back to Paris. If you play with good players,
that's him?
you'll do well.
The $1 trillion man?
Yeah, he's a man. I follow him every day.
Okay.
He uses some abusive words, but it's okay. He uses it just to get your attention.
Get your attention, yeah.
But basically, these organizations basically gave me like a VIP pass to meet the greatest minds in the world. And it's great because it just blows your mind. And we, in Nepal, we're just in a little bubble. Who is Raj? I'm nothing. I'm just peanuts. We're peanuts. There are such big people, such great innovators who are doing such crazy things. People are flying to the moon now.
People are going to Mars now. Mars.
So the times are changing, but having good gurus, good mentors are important. I've been lucky to find several different people over the years that I really look up to and learn from, even from their mistakes. And, you get to meet such great people. Forget everyone else. I met the Dalai Lama.
You did?
Yes. The Dalai Lama is the last superhero. He is.
So true.
I mean, we have Nelson Mandela, Mother Teresa, but about the Kosa? About China? There's no more good people
left
in the world. Tell me, Sanjay, who is
China?
It's an open question to every single one of you, because I'm always like, anyone close? Cool. Barack Obama? Sorry, man. Kosa? China? I mean, famous the Queen of England, okay, but why गएपछि त गयो यार, and we're in trouble. So I got to meet him. I was like,
How was it?
It was crazy. And YPO Nepal took me there. And he was talking to us. And you know what he told me? He's like, what he told us? Mero guru ta Nepali ta ho ni bhanyo. Who's his guru? Buddha. And हामी ta chupchap.
He said it.
Yes. Mero guru ni Nepali. And he's like, I have a strong connection to Nepal, and I wish I could come there, but the politics don't let me. But it's just that guy is it. He's the man. You forget all the businessmen. This is the man you need to listen to. It's just every word is like music. And you're just dumbfounded when you stand in front of him. And this is the type of experiences that just money can't buy that. It was just life changing to be there. And I've heard him speak in LA also, okay? And he was with all the greatest minds talking about all these great technologies, and he's like, the sad truth about technology is, if you look at the history of mankind, men always use technology only for the wrong reasons, not for the good. Today we're in a world where we could end poverty overnight.
Of course we could.
We could end hunger.
Right away.
But we don't. We could end COVID also. But what's happening? We're not doing it. And that's where ethics and morality and compassion comes into thing. But yeah, I've had great experiences, and it's humbling. And I think for me, I'm not saying I'm a master of it. I'm still learning. I'm not perfect. No one's perfect in life. You learn that. Tara, being humble is the tough one. How to be humble, how to be compassionate, And one of the great things I learned from EO and YPO is if you really want to be happy, seriously, Sanjay, and to all the guests, give back. Be generous and give back, especially now at a time like COVID.
You gave 2 crores? That was one of the things that you did, except for all the taxes that you
Yeah, I give that every day.
You're giving it right
Yeah.
now as we
it's,
speak.
It's up a little bit. Our family is kind of private. We don't like to show off about what we give. But yeah, we're helping good people out. That's the tough part, is finding the good people. You know, we want to give it to somewhere where it makes a difference. And we're working with Dr. Ram.
Oh.
Dr. Ram is a hero.
Tell everybody about him.
Google him, man. You don't have to ask me.
Yeah.
He's from Jawalakhel Hospital. I mean, he's right up there with Dr. Reed.
Oh.
These are the Mother Teresas of Nepal. Besides Paris. But no, these guys are just great people. You know, I mean, people should follow and think. And if you can donate to him, even if it's 10 rupees, you should, because it's going to help people. This guy really, it's just, you know, when my father met him, my dad asked him, how much do you need? He gave the figure, and my dad's like, okay, I'm going to give it to you. Yeah. That's how much we trust him. You know, he doesn't need references. You don't have to worry. That place is a good place. So you know, there are some great people out there. Nepal is not just full of crooks and criminals. There are some great people out there. Great, you know, people out there. And you need to find them. It's not easy. Just like, you know, searching for gold or a diamond, you have to search hard, but talk.
You're trying to learn a musical instrument? I'm
trying, man. We've bought a piano, so we're trying, and now let's see. You're locked out, but maybe I'll have some more time. But yeah, I keep trying to push myself to learn new tricks. It keeps the mind sharp. And I unfortunately, sports, I was good. Drama, I was good. Music, so I'm like, even if I could learn how to play music a little bit, not be a rock star or something, it'd be fun. I have some friends who play well. Well, they play. I don't know how well they play, but they do play. But I think music is great.
It definitely is.
Yeah, people miss out on music. People who are not musically inclined.
Right, so there are thousands and thousands of things that I could sit and talk to you about, but I know your time is very, very precious. I respect you a lot. I love you a lot, and it was a pleasure having you on board. And a lot of entrepreneurs, again, my demographic is, again, I'm very thankful for this. My demographic is somewhere above 15 to 35. So that's my demographic, and I try to cater to them. You cater to people who are watching you. You know, you cater to people who made sure that apparently my channel is the fastest growing in this country at the moment. And
excellent.
And it was a pleasure having you on board. Words of wisdom, words of advice, whatever you call it, the things that you've said, it's going to stay with me for a long, long time. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And everyone, please be careful. Get vaccinated.
No.
Forget everything I said, please. Keep safe.
Thank you very much, Raj, for your time. All right, everybody. See ya.
Take care.
If you love what we are doing, make sure that you subscribe and turn on notifications.
This program is brought to you by Vyas Studios.